What's up, you guys? My name is Random Girl.
And this is Kombat AllStar.
Today I just want to talk a little bit about how the media portrays like racism. I just saw an article called, hold on guys, let me read it. Let me look for it. I just saw an article and the title is named 9 Killed in Shooting at Black Church in Charleston. And I had actually seen it for a few days, but I purposely avoided it because I try to stay away from negative things, period, and like negative news because it makes you feel a certain way and I don't like feeling that way. So I just try to avoid it. But it kept showing up on my TV, showing up on my phone, showing up on Yahoo News, showing up on my tablet. So I was like, okay, what is this about? And I had actually just found out that there was nine people that
were killed.
Yeah, 9 people that were killed, but they were black, and I did not know that. I thought it was like a sporadic killing. So and then there's an article above it, and it says that they have a suspect, and his name is Dylan Roof, and he was a suspect in the Charleston shooting, and he flew the flags of white power. And just to be honest, I know that in a lot of southern countries, there's still like a lot of racism going on. Even like in Alabama or Georgia, like they still have segregation. A few years ago, they stopped a black man and a white woman from marrying. So I know there's a lot, and they still have a lot of restaurants where, they say no colors allowed. So there's a lot of segregation going on that, that all the people don't know about. So I don't know. I saw these articles and I don't know. First reaction I got was I was mad because the media and news always try to portray it so that they try to make it so that there's just so much racism in the world, and I know that there's a lot, but there's not as much as the media portrays it to be. So I don't know, it just annoyed me for some reason. So yeah, I don't know. Kevin, what do you have to think? What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I agree. It's just that's how the world is. The news always trumps up the worst of things, even if it's not a lot of things. And it's just, you really have to get a worldview, not even a worldview, but just a view on the United States. If you travel from state to state, it's almost like a different country. So what happens in one state doesn't happen in the other. And, when you get that worldview like me and Random Girl gotten, then you realize that, what's on the media is
so false.
Either a complete lie or really, really exaggerated.
Exaggerated, yeah.
So, and I remember, it's funny, I grew up in Delaware, and like I don't know how it is today is a little different than how I grew up. I grew up in the 80s in Delaware, and how it was just like there wasn't a lot of there. First of all, it's like majority black. It's in between Maryland,
which
New
I
York.
think is awesome. I never knew that. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, it's okay. It's majority black, so it's it's smack dab in the middle of Maryland, New York, New Jersey, and Philadelphia. So heavily populated with black people. And I remember watching shows like on Nickelodeon and stuff, and there always was like one black guy, and I was like, why is there always one black guy? I don't get it. Like I look outside and all my neighbors, and like it's like they're all black. So what is this? One black guy? I don't get it. And then I see these music videos or just TV where people were acting ridiculous. They were like super sagging, and it was really, really crazy, and I had like a really, really exaggeration of it. And the way they spoke and everything, it wasn't what I was around, so I didn't believe that was how any area of the United States was. And then when I moved out from Arizona to Florida for the first time for school, I saw that that people were acting like that people like that existed. And then when I lived in Arizona and other places, and traveled around to Michigan and everything else, and I did notice that there's not a lot of black people. So it's just one of those things where it's something small that you see on TV that's kind of exaggerated, but it's not like that in certain areas. So what a Random Girl was saying, like in some of the southern states, there's segregation and everything, and that's kind of like their whole world. But the news will trump it up like
to make it seem like that's all there is.
That's all there is in America, and it's such a misrepresentation of the country and just how it really is. And that's I honestly, like Random Girl said, I stay away from the news too. I usually get my news on Twitter.
Twitter. What is it? NPR.
NPR is a great place to get your news.
That's more local.
Yeah, CPR. Every state has their own public radio.
Yeah.
So Colorado CPR.
And I happen to like BBC. They're more like really with their news. They talk about the good news. They talk about the bad news, which basically is real. You're gonna have good things that are going on in the world. You're gonna have bad things. So they talk about everything, which is what I like.
NPR is the same way, and I also like NPR is the same way. They talk about the good and the bad. And AP News is pretty good. They do get out of control when stories like this happen because they're the hot stories. but at least they tell you about everything.
Yeah.
Unlike Yahoo News or like CNN or
I actually
Fox.
had to leave AP News alone. I had them on my phone, but I had to take it because it was like too much like negative going on, so I had to like take it down.
if one bad, they're really good, but like if one bad story, if they have a hot story, they'll kind of shove that down your throat. So you just gotta kind of pick where you go for your news sources. The internet is so big, you can get your news from anywhere.
Exactly, and it's the internet. That's what I also love. It's like open. If you want to find something about a certain case or whatever, you'll find it on the internet because they have everything. You know. Right. So. And
I know everybody out there knows about the shooting case and everything, but I don't know. Just all I can say is just, there's other news outlets out there, and don't let that get you down, or don't let it make it seem like that's how America is, or if you leave your state, you'll realize that.
Yeah. So like my topic is not so much the news just putting out whatever, which they do. Well, not putting out whatever. It's not like my thing is not so much the media controlling everything, which is what I feel that they do, but it's more so the racism thing that's going on in America. How the media tries to, they seem like they try to control you. They try to like to be honest, they seem like they try to instill like a certain amount of hate. Like they want black and white to argue or fuss or hate each other. I mean, you don't have to emphasize on it so much.
Right.
Yep.
And I mean, and you said it's not about media control, but I think it is. Like there's places like the news places that we talked about. They're all publicly funded. So.
Well, no, I didn't say that I don't think it's about media control. I know that they do. Like they make sure that they put out a certain medium for the audience to see instead of showing everything. I know that they control.
Right. And let's be honest, it's like every news place has an agenda. Even like everyone knows Fox and CNN are totally Republican, and you have some that are totally Democratic, and it's just every news media has an agenda except for the ones that are publicly funded, and those are the ones that we mentioned, which they kind of report the real news and all news. Mm-hmm. So you just gotta make sure and with YouTube's great. You can go on there and get opinions from everybody. I mean, I watch so many YouTube shows, and from very, very opinionated people and people that report, the news with their opinion. And it's accurate. So I mean, there's
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Some people will be biased, or some people will feel more strongly than others about certain topics. But at least it's their actual real opinion. I don't know. You can get certain things. You can get all types of different topics and subjects from watching just YouTube.
Yeah, and I know, and like one of the most opinionated guys I know on YouTube is Alpha Omega Sin, and that guy he kind of goes off on a rant and goes pretty ridiculous. But dude,
you gotta respect it because that's him.
Yeah.
If you want that, if it's too much, then just go to another channel. But if you love it, like he's there for you, like. And
that's the great thing, choice. And I love the guy. And like he gives me informative information, everything. And I hear people, fans of the show, they watch the show and I've gotten tweets like, hey, you keep me up on everything, thank you, and stuff like that, which is awesome.
Yeah, there's something out there for everybody.
Right. And so don't get pigeonholed by the negative stories you see on TV.
I know, because you know what, and that's what Kombat was also talking about. It's like, that's why it pays to be open. It pays to travel. It pays to see. It pays to visit new people and meet new people because everybody is different. The one black person you see down the street is going to be different from the next. Like, everybody is not the same. And if all you have to go on is just the news, and that's what you're going to think. You're going to think that, that all black people are a certain way or all white people are a certain way, just from watching the media. So you just can't go by that because they have a strict hand and control of how they want to, what am I trying to say?
How they want to portray the news.
Yeah.
And it just fits their interest. So.
Yeah. So, I don't know. What I'm saying is, be open. The news is not how, like, real life is, So, I don't know. It's kind of sickening. It's kind of maddening to me, because it just makes me mad.
Yeah, even like with Colorado, like Colorado, they had the theater shooting that happened not too long ago in Aurora. Then they had the Columbine shooting that happened years ago. But like, if you look at the news and read the stories and everything, you think Colorado was a horrible place with crazy white people, and it's not the case at all. Those are just separate incidents, and they happened. They were isolated, and it's just you can't. I mean, it's common sense. I know you guys are pretty smart out there, but you can't believe everything you hear on the news.
But sometimes people do. I mean, if that's all you have to go by, like, say if you live in a small town or a small city and that's all you have to go by, you're going to assume. Like, say if you live in an all-white town, you don't really live around a lot of black people, you watch the news, you're going to assume that we're all, loud or act a certain way and we all want to shoot up and riot, that's how I was growing up. I grew up in a small town called Trenton, New Jersey, right? And there wasn't a lot of white people around us. We had a certain perception of white people, how they should be, and we had a very small-minded perception of how they should be, and whatever we saw on the news, that's what we thought, So if that's all you have to go by, then that's what you're gonna think.
Yep,
that's just realism.
Yep, and the same thing with the Baltimore riot and everything, and
yeah,
it's just like, and it was like, that's Baltimore is a pretty big town, but it's not like all of Maryland, and it's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
just have an open mind.
It's all controlled. Yeah. It's all controlled. If you're not careful, and I know the media does that on purpose. They get a rise out of it, That's why they purposely say, "Oh, a black man was shot down by a white man." And like I said, I experienced racism. I know what's out there, but to force it on people's throats like that when it's not that serious. Not saying it's not that serious, but there's not so much racism as they portray it to be, and they're keeping that segregation doing that. I feel.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is controversy sells. People want to. I don't know about people these days.
I think they like to instill fear in the American people.
Yeah, but I mean, the world has changed, but generally speaking, like if people see a negative story, they're opted to click on it or opted to watch it on TV than they are if a positive story comes on TV. So. But
do you think that the media has made it this way because everything wasn't always so negative? There was also a lot of positive. I just feel like if you force something down someone's throat for so long, that's what they're gonna like.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I haven't lived long enough to answer that for sure. But I mean, I could take a guess and say possibly, because and it just comes from stories I've heard and things that I've read. So it's a good possibility, but I haven't really dug into that like that to know for sure, and I haven't lived long enough to know it for myself. So yeah, it's a possibility.
Just like with the music, the news, the TV shows, and everything, and how it's changed. Like it's all about profit now and control.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that wraps up this episode.
I guess, because I could go on forever,
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But that wraps up this episode of Anything Goes. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and yeah, I don't know. If you agree with any of what me and Kombat said, or if you don't, if you disagree, then let us know. I'd love to get your feedback. Like, all opinions are I accept all opinions. Like, there's nothing wrong. If there's no right or wrong answer, So if you agree with what we said, or if you disagree, or if you just wanted to say something, let us know.
Yeah, all opinions are valued.
I'm open to the feedback.
Yeah, all opinions are valued, and we love conversation and talking with you guys. So let us know.
Let us know. Until next time.
Until next time.
See you later.
Bye bye.